Hey guys, Jacob here at ePoolSupply. Today we have an ANA low profile 2-port valve, and what we're going to do is change out the guts on the inside of the new gear kit. So this video will actually work with a 2-port and a 3-port because it's the same gear kit. So 2-port, 3-port, let's dive in. And we're back. So let's dive in, let's take this valve apart, let's show you how to install the new Oem Gear Kit from ANA Manufacturing, part number 550416. All right, so first things first, let's take the old valve apart. So when you take this old valve apart, it's always good to remember how you took it apart because that's how it's going back in. So what I'm gonna do is first take this band clamp off. When you're doing this, make sure you have the system turned off. So that way this valve doesn't pop you in the face when you take this lid off. So band clamp comes off first. Kind of tedious. Come on. There it is. All right, clamp falls off. Lid comes off. Just grab the nice hard plastic piece here and it comes right off. Next is the gear kit. So the top piece is your impeller. So you can start by taking the impeller off if you want to. I like to take the whole thing off as a big old section. So I'm gonna grab these two little tabs that are sticking up here and just lift the whole thing up. So that is gonna take place as my old gear kit. And then, you don't need to know about that. And then what I'm gonna have is the shaft in the middle comes out, and so do the two discs on the bottom. They also come out. Your gear kit is coming with all of that goodness. So, as you can see here on a 2-port valve, you've got 2 flaps, and that's it. On a 3-port valve, it would be every other. So you would have 3, and it would be scattered. So you'd have flap, no flap, flap, no flap, flap, no flap. So what we're gonna do now, let's open up this bag and let's start with replacing what we need to replace. So cut open the bag. Let's pull out this one first. So here is my rod and 2 washers that I took out. So I'm gonna open that first. Let's cut it open. So what I'm gonna do is take this guy out, put him on in there. And then I'm gonna take out the 2 washers, the 2 big ones, slide them on. And as you're gonna see, they're gonna stick on the flap. So all you have to do is pop the flaps up, sink them down a little bit. It's really that easy. So in this bag, it also comes with 2 smaller washers, which I'm gonna show you a good way to install that. There's a couple good ways, as you can see, that you probably watched online, but I'll show you my recommended way to do it. So next I'm gonna take my gear kit out. What makes this a 2-port gear kit is the cam on the bottom. So this thing's huge. So on a 6-port, this thing's very narrow because if it's 6-port, you only open up 1 flap at a time. So this thing is so big because it has to keep this 1 flap open for such a lot longer time that if you had this cam installed on the 6-port, it would open 3 flaps at the same time. All right, so what we're gonna do is this bottom piece here actually comes off. So you're gonna literally take it off like that, slide it on. So it's a little tight, plastic's all tight, so if you feel like you're forcing it on, you're not, it's just new. So you're gonna slide that bad boy up in there. Get it underneath the flap, or 2 flaps if you want to. And I have my big rounded area faced towards over here. And then what I'm gonna wanna do is, see how there's a hole back here on the cam? That's what this little hole right here lines up with. So when you slide it in like this, that hole lines up exactly in the back. And you just have to remember, and that's where I'm gonna stand up here and kind of look into it as I slide it down. But first, before I slide it in there, I wanna get my washers on because my washers go right inside here. So what I like to do is take a screwdriver. See how it fits nice and pretty inside a screwdriver? And kind of just get them lined up just like that. So now they slide in. Because the problem here, the washers are too big to just slide in nicely. So if I put my gear kit in beforehand, it's really, you cannot put your washers in. So you have to put your washers in before you slide this thing down the shaft. So now, I'm all lined up with my cam down below. And then here's the loud popping it sometimes make, but I know I'm lined up, so I'm gonna push. and it slides down nice and pretty. So as you can see the gear, it actually slid down below to where this outside gear is right here. So if the gears are sticking up, that means you didn't push it down all the way. You can pull it back out, investigate, put it back down. Next, got my impeller. Impellers are great because those literally just slide on. Turn it to test. So as you can see, my gear kit is turning like a mad dog. So now, I got an O-ring. So I'm gonna open up my O-ring. As you can see, this gear kit comes with pretty much everything you're gonna need, except 2 new T-flaps in the bottom. So my O-ring is already pre-lubed from the factory. So as you can see here, my lid already has an O-ring, so I'm gonna take the old O-ring off. Put the new one on. It's all nice and greasy, kind of disgusting. Probably should wear gloves when you're doing this. Slide the new O-ring on. It comes pre-lubed, so don't put more on there because you don't want to put too much lube on there because then you might leak a little bit. So another hard part. After years, your dome here, it's gonna get fogged from the sun, especially live here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's gonna get faded, it's hard to see. But the goal here is to line this hole up with this shaft. So normally on a nice new construction one like this, I can see through the lid, line it up really, really easy. If it's not, then you just have to be very careful and just take your time with it and slowly line it up. So I'm gonna line it up, pop it down. So I have it lined up perfectly right now, and it goes left and right, and it stops just like that. So now the science behind that is there's a groove here and a notch here. That's exactly what has to line up when you slide the lid on. And the reason why they made it so you can adjust it left and right, because if this port right here is lined up exactly like this, your gear kit's gonna go real, real fast. You're gonna go from one port to the next port very, very quickly. So what's gonna happen now is I like to back them off a little bit, which will actually slow this gear kit down, which will actually make your gear kit last a lot longer, but it keeps it in the zones a little bit longer as well. So as you can see here, so I'm gonna put it on. So when I turn left, that makes it straight, and that's what's gonna make it go real, real, real fast. So what I like to do, see how it goes right? I like to make it somewhere in the middle. Slows the gear kit down, makes it last a lot longer, and in my personal opinion, I don't like replacing gear kits a lot, so back it off a little bit, you'll get a lot more life out of your gear kit. Next, clamp. I like to put my clamp away from everything, because you don't want to line up with your plumbing, because then this thing won't turn very well. So I like to go opposite on this one. And then everything's hand tight. Do not use tools with this thing. So I'm gonna tight. It's coming, here we go. Turn, 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 turn. And then, so it's snug, but what I did, if you tighten it just like that, I tightened these two really good, but I left this guy kind of hanging. So I'm gonna take a screwdriver, beat it a little bit, give it a couple more tightens. Now we're good. We're all hand tight. So what I did today, I installed a 2-port, 3-port gear module for an A&A 2-port valve. Again, this works for a 3-port low profile valve as well. So yeah, this is how to get your gears going good, get your valve working, get your pop-up heads working. So yeah, I'm Jacob with ePoolSupply. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Subscribe today if you haven't subscribed. Check out the links below, and we got a lot more content coming your way. Thank you.